And Pastor Fred, welcome to the Follow Through. We have been in 1 John all week. We're going to be in verse 7 of 1 John chapter 4. So verse 7, talking about who you are. And you probably noticed in life that what you do always flows from who you are, right? So if let's say you're a happy person, you're upbeat, you're positive, and if you were to act in a way that was kind of negative or, like we were just like hating on people are going to go like, man, that's not you. You're happy. But if you're a negative person who's always hating on other people, it's kind of weird for you to be happy because it's kind of who you are, right? And that is, right, if you have certain values as well. An honest person, people trust an honest person because why? Because they do honest things. They safeguard and they the rights of others and their property, and they're there for other people, and you can trust them with anything. But someone who's dishonest, like again, that's who they are at their core. Like you'll notice like they're cheating people. That's how you know they're dishonest. You see how it works? And so for us as people of God, as people who love God, like that's our identity. And from that identity flows who we are. It's real important to get that right. It's not that we do the things that we do. It's not like, hey, you be a good person and be honest and be forthright and be caring and all those things so that God will love you. That's not how this works. It's not how it's ever worked. Now, they go hand in hand, right? Being someone who loves God, who is loved by God, who is forgiven, that comes first. He loves us. He has forgiven us. He went to the cross. He suffered. He died. He's already given us heaven. Already. I do what I do. You do what you do. Like if we believe that, it's already in the bank, man. It's done. It's done. When he rose, it was death was done. Over. We will live forever. I will rise one day. You will rise if you believe that Jesus suffered, died, and rose for you. And so knowing that, like that's who you are, and then you live accordingly. The life you live flows out of that truth. It's kind of a living out of that truth. Let's look at 1 John 4:7. He says, "Beloved, let us love one another, for love is from God. And whoever loves has been born of God and knows God." So a loving person, a truly loving person, is going to be loving people the way God loves us. And their love is going to flow from that. So they are a loving person because they've been born of God. When you talk about identity, you want to talk about your origin, your story, this is it. Right? I was born again. I have been made new. John talks about this a lot. And in fact, the Bible talks about this a lot. Like that's the change. Like that's how different we are. I have been made a new person. And now I say, my origin is from God. Like who I am comes from Him. My character comes from Him. My intellect comes from Him. My philosophy of life, my approach to everything is going to do that. And it's going to be all about love. That's the thing that you expect to see. You know how we use that phrase, I was born for this? Well, yeah, you were born again for this. To love. To love, to love, to love. And John's saying, look, that should be the main thing that we see. And I will say this, that a lot of times when people talk about the church as an institution, right, and church people or Christian people, unfortunately, the love is sometimes the furthest thing from what comes to mind. And I want to challenge us. I want to challenge myself. I want to challenge all of us to say, hey, that's not right. That, yeah, that's true. We sometimes don't act that way. And again, sometimes things are misunderstood. And, if you stand up for what's right and you stand up for what other people don't want to hear, well, they're going to judge that as hatred. But you're just trying to be true and you love them and you care about them, but maybe you just don't agree with what they're teaching, with what they say is right. Right? So on a lot of the hot button issues that we hear about today, right? Human sexuality, and we hear about, abortion, and we hear about just being honest and what really matters. Like, I'm going to say things differently than the world, and I speak it in love, and I want to love people, and I want them to know God's way of doing things. And know that God has challenged me on these things, and God has had to deal with me on these things in life, in what matters most, and in what is the standard and what the way to live. Right? But I'm from God. That's who I am. And those things are going to flow from that. And again, I want people, let's hold each other accountable for that. And say, you know what? If it's not done in love, right? Paul said in 1 Corinthians, if it's just a bunch of noise if I don't have love. Even if I could do these amazing spiritual things, without love, it's a really loud, annoying noise. And so let's change it up to be a sweet song that people hear, an amazing story of God's love for us and for the world that we tell as our lives are lived out each and every day. All right, so you hit that subscribe button, share this with somebody, and you have a great rest of your day.